Welcome to Action Trailers Tutorials. I'm Shane Thompson. In today's tutorial, we're going to talk about our N&N hot dip galvanized dump trailers. Now, we're saying it's so hard to figure out what the best type of trailer to buy is because there's so many different options. And one of the biggest differences with our product here behind us is that it's hot dip galvanized. Now, there's so many different types of trailers out there, and most of them are painted. And as you know, if you look at a painted trailer a couple years down the road, it's full of rust. And that's the main difference between getting a hot dip galvanized trailer there compared to just having a basic steel painted trailer there, is the longevity factor of it. And that's what we're going to discuss today, is what makes our product different than other trailers in the market, as well as other galvanized ones. And just to make sure that you are educated, so that way when you come to the dealership, you know exactly what you're getting. So to start off with, you can see right behind us our 510 series we're going to talk about today, which comes in a 5x10, 6x10, and 6x12 bed lengths there for that. So 5-ton stays underneath the radar of having to have a CVOR or an A-restricted license. So for anyone that knows anything about the licensing laws and regulations, with this 5-ton trailer, you can get away with a general half-ton truck and not have to worry about doing CVR or any of that. So that's a nice thing why this particular series is so popular, is because pretty much any user can use it without having to necessarily go through all the loops and everything like that involved. So to start off with, on these particular models, you're going to see that the coupler here is going to be an adjustable coupler. So having an adjustable coupler onto it allows you to change it from a pintle or ball, or to adjust it up and down to make sure that way it's level with your vehicle. So for a security point, you can actually take this off at night, and that way there's nothing there. Other things that are different with our particular models are the fact that we set the jacks further back. So the jack is set further back there, so that way when you lower your tailgate in your vehicle, it's not in the way. So again, kind of simple stuff, but a lot of people just have the tongue jacks right up front, and it always hits the tailgate, and of course you're going to put a mark in it. Ours is a drop leg tongue jack too. So having a drop leg tongue jack there, it drops down instead of rather than having to hand crank it there. And you also have a grease nipple here for greasing too. Another big difference there with our particular model is the fact that it's a cold weather harness. If you look at a lot of wire harnesses out there in the industry, they just use the standard harness there itself and they get brittle, whereas in this one you can flex. And again, for our Canadian winters here, that's what's important, is wiring. So the wiring itself is built into the frame, which is a tube frame. You see it's a triple tube tongue on here, so it's a stronger structure rather than just having the regular A-frame. Now our box, you notice it's aluminum. Other trailer companies will see steel, plastic. We use aluminum, again, for longevity. You see it has a built-in lock to it as well, the gas shock that holds it up. So this lock there, at least, again, protects the battery there and whatever you put inside of it there from getting stolen. Remote here, you get a nice heavy-duty remote there itself, so you can either go with a 20-foot hand rope, which comes standard, or have an optional wireless remote as well too. Front cylinder, it's going to be telescopic, so it's going to be a 3-stage. So the 3-stage cylinder, you're going to get a higher dumping degree than just your standard single stage there cylinders, which are underneath the trailer. As well, it makes it easier to fix or replace if you ever have to do anything, because the cylinder front itself is in front here, so it's easy to access. It's not underneath the bed. Some cool features with these particular models as well is the fact that our toolboxes have a built-in battery charger to them. So there's a battery charger, 110 volt charger here. So not only when you're hooked up to your vehicle, it's going to charge the battery, but as well there's a separate charger too to plug in when you're at home too. So that way it's always getting a constant charge. Another really neat feature on these particular models is going to be our keyed-away lockout system. So right in here, we have a lockout system. So what happens is if you try to operate the remote on the actual dump without the actual key in there, it's going to lock it out. So it's a security feature there. So if you leave it tilted up at night, take the key out, put the key in the toolbox or in your pocket, whatever, that way no one can actually operate the dump trailer there on you. And as well, if it's up in the air, who's going to steal it and drive away with it up in the air? Another neat feature, tarp kit casing. Sounds, again, very simple, but we use an aluminum casing to protect the tarp, so that way when we're throwing stuff inside the trailer, it's not getting damaged. A lot of trailer companies, of course, will just have the tarps open and exposed, and again, the sun beats down on them, they get weathered, they get damaged from debris, so that's why we put a casing over it. And notice it's aluminum, so it matches with the toolbox and goes with the rest of the trailer there itself. Some other neat features on these particular models are as well too going to be our bulkhead on the side, so it's a little bit stiffer side. And notice we actually put reflector tape all down the sides as well too. So a lot of trailer companies you'll see, let's say some of our competitors, they don't have the necessarily the tarp kit casing, they don't have the aluminum toolbox, they don't have the actual reflection tape on the side there, which is called the DOT tape. Our gussets here are 2x12. So the nice thing about that is you put a 2x12 board in here, so it can raise it up there, so it's almost 3 feet tall, the sides are going to be at. And the front bulkhead, if you notice a tarp kit, it sits a little bit higher, so that's why we would put the board in here. It sits nice and level. This tarp has a bar, so when you roll it that back, it rolls all the way back into here, and it hooks up there, so that way you don't have to bungee it either, which is a nice feature. All of our trailers are suitable for ramps. So on the 5-ton series, ramps are not standard because not everybody needs them. But the good thing is if you ever do want ramps, we have brackets welded on there, and that's something we can just bolt on the side anytime, so you don't have to buy them initially. Rims on the trailer, they're going to be galvanized too. So that's another thing with these particular models. Everything's galvanized. So from the actual frame to the rims, even the axles underneath the trailer, they're hot dip galvanized, because that's the whole thing. You want to buy a trailer that's going to last, and that's the reason why we're talking about this particular model. So galvanized rims, all radial tires, which this is an 8-ply radial on here. The backing plates are galvanized behind this as well too. The suspension here, we use a slipper spring suspension, so it's an equalizer in the middle, so it gives you a smoother ride. So you get a grease nipple there, as well as too, it gives you a smoother ride for, again, longer longevity of having that grease nipple there for greasing. We got fender supports here, so we got these little steps to get in and out of the trailer. If you notice our fenders, they go all the way down, which again, we don't cut off the fender. You see some other galvanized trailers out there that cut the fender. It of course gives you a lot of salt spray as well coming back at the next person behind you there. And as well, it doesn't really look right. So we use a full fender, comes all the way down. Again, just it's a little bit more expensive there for us to do this in the galvanizing process. But again, we don't cut corners. That's the whole thing. These are holdbacks for the barn doors. Now the back barn doors here, they open as a 2-way gate, or they also open as a spreader. So they can do both functions, which is standard. Back door itself here is going to be quite a bit higher up. If you look at other trailers out there, they just have a, basically it matches the side height. So we raise our height because we understand you're going to put some boards in here. We use heavy duty actually grease nipples again on the back gate as well too. You can see the heavy bolts there, getting quality onto it. We try to express there on that. The back here we have an actual bumper here. So that's something that no other trailer is going to have. So we have this heavy duty bumper in the back, because anytime you back up anywhere, obviously you're going to hit the doors, you don't want to damage them. So you're going to hit this bumper. As on top of that, it's a dual purpose, so the ramps can actually hook on here too. And that way the full width of the trailer to adjust the ramps there, which is nice. Little things like the lights, we use double tail lights in the back, so they're not just a single light, they're double, and they're all LED, because LED of course are going to illuminate brighter and last a lot longer too. That's the whole thing, is longevity. That's the main thing, reason why I keep on talking about why you want to buy this particular model, is this is going to last. Inside the bed we have 4 tie-down rings, so if you're going to strap down any equipment there in the trailer, that's already standard with it. All the trailers come with a spare tire bracket too, which is another option that other companies may charge extra for. So really at the end of the day, you just want to make sure you're comparing all these little specs that we have, because there's lots of trailers, as I mentioned, out there. I'll never say we're the best trailer out there, we're just going to express to you what makes our trailer different. Because as the old saying goes, the bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten. That definitely comes into effect when you're buying any type of trailer, especially a dump trailer there. So I hope you guys remember all the little extras that we have standard with our product, between having the aluminum toolbox, tarp kit casing onto it, built-in battery charger, the lockout system, adjustable coupler on the front of the trailer, better galvanized rims, galvanized axles onto it, the dual lights, heavier fenders, heavier, taller gates. Even the steel itself is all 10 gauge. A lot of companies out there will just have 11 gauge on here. And we offer a 3-year warranty back with all of our trailers there. So that's 3 years covering everything. So thanks for tuning in, guys, to today's tutorial. Appreciate you watching, and hopefully a little bit more educated on how our trailer is different from our other companies out there, and hope to see you by the dealership.